The Count looked thoughtfully after the retreating car. That's what it means, how it happens, how they throw unwanted dogs, take them to unfamiliar places and leave them. He knew perfectly well that it was stupid to run after him. He turned out to be a burden to the owners, and he didn't have much strength. The pit bull slowly walked up to a large spreading tree and lay down, resting his powerful head on his paws, sighed heavily and began to remember. The owner took him as a tiny puppy. He needed to start training him as early as possible. He wanted to make the dog a champion dog fighter, and the Count tried. He spent most of his life fighting in the arena. The only rule in battles was to fight to the death, if not you, then you. People enjoyed it, they didn't have enough adrenaline, and they made big bets. The winners received a lot of money, and the Count won with numerous injuries, but he brought profit to the person. With each fight, his health deteriorated, and soon he stopped bringing money. He became unnecessary. The dog was very smart and well-mannered. Despite the fact that all his life he saw only cruelty, he did not hold a grudge against people. He just didn't know that there was another life. After resting, the pit bull terrier got up and walked down the street. He moved aimlessly, mechanically, noting how few passers-by avoided him. He looked aggressive, but he knew about it. His thoughts were scattered and were interrupted suddenly. The Count stopped and listened. Near the store, a small group of hooligans surrounded a fragile girl about 10 years old. Her crying attracted the dog's attention. The boys took the money, which was presented to the girl for sweets. The baby's tears only made the boys laugh. Big deal, her parents will give her more. People were passing by, but no one cared about the girl, and no one thought it necessary to stop and ask what was going on. The Count was battle-hardened and cruel with rivals. Well, he did not know what to do in such cases. He was not taught to protect, he was taught to kill. But the fighter's justice was at the level of genetics, so he slowly approached the little girl and just stopped next to her. He waited for further developments, and the hooligans, seeing the Count, faded away, and bumping into each other hurriedly retreated, leaving the girl with her money. They thought it was her dog. The young stranger stopped crying. She hurried to thank her savior and did something that the pit bull did not expect. She sat down and hugged him around the neck, saying words of gratitude. Her cheek, wet with tears, pressed against her powerful torso. The Count froze. He did not understand how to react. No one had ever treated him like this in his entire life. The dog tried to carefully free himself from the embrace, snuffling heavily. The girl let go of him, and crouched down in front of him, began stroking his head. She said something nice, that the dog was smart, kind, strong and good. Her hand felt the numerous scars, and the girl was sad. The dog was obviously beaten. The Count was completely at a loss. No adult would have thought of treating a serious fighting dog like that. But the little girl just didn't know that. Finally, the baby left him alone and ran off to the store. While the Count was thinking about what had happened, she returned, but instead of sweets she was carrying sausages. The dog carefully accepted the treat. I am surprised at the fragility of the child's palm, and then his new girlfriend ran home, and the Count was left alone. Lying down on the alley near the store, he looked thoughtfully into the distance. It was a strange day today. He lost his master, but met a new friend and for the first time in his life learned what a caress is. He needed to digest all this. A few days later, the girl reappeared. The Count recognized her from afar. She treated him to sausage brought from home, and then invited him to walk with her, and he went. From that day on, the girl and the dog often began to walk together, reached the park and the river, played or just sat side by side. The Count was experiencing wonderful emotions. They were new to him. He did not believe that such a friendship could happen. One day the girl did not come alone. A man was walking with her by the hand, her father, as the Count later guessed. When he saw the dog, he was horrified. You could see it in his eyes. The daughter constantly talked about her new friend, called him a good and kind dog, and the father was not ready to see this monster with a wide torso and strong paws standing firmly and confidently on the ground, and the girl talked incessantly, told that it was this dog that saved her from bullies, and in general he is the best and he needs to be taken home. My father did not agree, because it is still a serious and dangerous breed. The baby begged, cried, and Dad promised that he and Mom would think about it. The Count saw and understood that people were deciding his fate, but he just watched in silence. The Count's girlfriend stopped walking, and the dog lost interest in life, wandered senselessly through the streets, feeling neither hunger nor thirst. He was used to hardships and pain. A whole week passed before the Count saw the girl again. She was very cheerful and walked, dancing and hurrying. The same man was walking next to her, her beloved daddy. The Count did not know that it took a whole week of persuasion, tears and promises for his parents to give up. No, they were not against the animal, and were even ready to buy their daughter any pet, but not a pit bull, a sullen, serious dog. But their daughter turned out to be a fighter, as well as the dog she chose. She didn't want another dog, she loved the Count, and they had to agree. Subsequently, they did not regret their decision for a minute. The Count turned out to be calm, well-mannered and absolutely unpretentious. He was incredibly affectionate towards his daughter and was always with her. During a Sunday outing, they met the Count's former master. When the Count saw the large tinted car, he became alert and tense. A man got out of the car, who was interested in driving through the forest. And then he saw the dog, he recognized him, called, gave commands, but the dog did not move. When the girl's father told where they got the dog from, the man calmly said that he had left him as punishment. He began to work poorly and lose fights. The little girl is still too young to understand the seriousness of the situation. She just desperately defended the dog and insisted that she would not let anyone offend her friend. The owner threatened to sue and did not carefully take a step towards the baby. And then, standing quietly, the Count growled and stood in front of her. The next threatening movement towards the father, and the dog closed its iron jaws on the man's wrist. Swearing and threatening, the former owner got into the car and hurriedly drove away, clutching the wound. When the father turned towards his daughter, he saw that she was hugging her formidable defender, and he was smiling at the top of his mouth. Dad silently approached the dog and said softly, "My daughter was right. You really are the best dog." The family was resting. The girl gathered wildflowers, wove a wreath, and putting it on the Count's head, gave him a ringing kiss in his serious muzzle. The Count was happy. He had loved ones, and he felt that he was loved too. And what else does the dog need? The dog sighed peacefully. After all, life is a good thing.